And welcome to the August 20th, 2019 meeting of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting. And for introductions, on my left is Commissioner Deb Shore and Commissioner and Vice Chair Sean Flowerday. And on my right is Commissioner Krista Yoakum. I am Commissioner Roma Amundson, Chair of the Board. Will you please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and thank you so much. And Mr. Clerk, will you begin the agenda?
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk staff at the front of the hearing room. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on Tuesday, August 13th, 2019.
Move approval.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 2 are claims. Approval of all claims processed through August 20th, 2019.
Move approval of the claims. I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 3 are consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there's an exception, these items will be approved as one with a single vote of the Board of Commissioners. These items are approval of amendments to the following contracts for unit price carpet cleaning, C-16-406 with FBG Service Corporation, C-16-405 with Clean Max, amendments to the following county contracts, C-18-504 with Tab Products Company, LLC, doing business as GBS for annual supply county court file folders, C-19-246 with O'Reilly Auto Parts, LLC, doing business as O'Reilly Auto Parts for fleet services, parts, and equipment, C-17-737 with TLC Dry Cleaners for annual service uniform cleaning, C-18-548 with Garcia Chacon Enterprises, Inc. for on-call guardrail repair and replacement services, C-15-111 with WW Granger, Inc. for facilities maintenance, repair, and operating supplies. Utility permit number 1854, allowing Unite Private Networks to install new fiber cable under the northerly portion of Stagecoach Road from South 54th Street to South 68th Street. In a right-of-way, there is no cost to the county. First Amendment to County Contract C-18-366 with Blue Stem Health to terminate the patient support specialist and cover administrative costs associated with the 340B drug pricing program. The term of the contract is extended through June 30th, 2021. Grant contract with Lincoln Public Schools for the Truancy Diversion Program. Grant contract with Clyde Malone Community Center for the Shields Unite program.
Move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we have motion and a second to approve the consent items. Please call the roll.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. New business number 4A is a resolution authorizing the installation of traffic control devices in Lancaster County.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. This is a resolution for a school bus stop ahead sign. As you may or may not be aware, we go out and do a study of sight distance in the area, and we err on the side of being very conservative, that if we think a sign needs to go up, we put a sign up. We also do go around periodically, and when school children are no longer in an area, we take a sign down. So.
Move approval. I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve this resolution. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 4B will hold until after the hearing. 4C is a special designated license application from Denton Daily Double for an event at Hillside Event Center at 12,400 West Denton Road, Denton, Nebraska, on September 7th, 2019.
Any questions?
Is there?
Is there some?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
yes, please come forward.
I'm Scott Zellinger from Den Daily Double. We're going to be doing a wedding reception at Hillside Event Center on September 7th. The event will go from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. We are just the bar located right in town, so right outside town, the event will take place.
Okay.
Move approval.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to approve the special designated license. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. D is a special designated license application from Bovant Travel LLC for an event at Hillside Event Center at 12,400 West Denton Road, Denton, Nebraska, on September 21st, 2019.
Is there someone from Bovent here?
Hello, my name's Eric Post from Bovant Travel or the Normandy in Lincoln. We'll be providing the alcohol for the event. It's a wedding reception. Runs until midnight, just basically copy and paste of the last one.
Okay.
I would move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the STL application. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 4E is a special designated license application from Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild for an event at Spring Creek Prairie Audubon Society, 11,700 Southwest 100th Street, Denton, Nebraska, on September 29, 2019.
Move approval. Oh, go ahead.
Come on up, yeah. Come on up. You're here.
I guess there's a lot of confidence that you know how to serve beer appropriately, so.
Right. Yes, I'm the executive director for the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. We're a trade association nonprofit that represents brewers, and we're working with Spring Creek Prairie Audubon Center for a fundraiser for both organizations. So that's what this
It's a
is.
fundraiser.
Yeah. Any questions?
Oh, and would you please introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm Gabby Ayala.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Who's the president of the guild? I used to be a member. Long time ago.
Oh, awesome. It's Jim Engelbart
Okay.
of Empyrean right now. So, yep.
You certainly mobilized your team during, was it last legislative session, to pack hearing rooms and, so, very engaged membership.
Yes, we're pretty lucky. They are pretty awesome and engaged. So.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
So I'll restate my motion for approval.
And I would second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this SDL from the Nebraska Craft Brewers. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. F is an agreement with Blue Valley Behavioral Health Crisis Response Counselors for after-hours screening and assessment on an on-call as-needed basis at the Youth Services Center. The county will pay $100 per hour for the services. The cost of county is not to exceed $9,000. The term of the agreement is July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020.
Move approval?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agreement. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. G are agreements with the state of Nebraska to establish the terms upon which the state will assist the county in obtaining federal approval and funds, with agreements being effective upon execution by the state for the following. Paving project on South 98th Street from Old Cheney Road to A Street. The county share of the total project cost is estimated to be $576,100. Road construction project on South 98th Street from A Street to O Street. The county share of the total project cost is estimated to be $408,800.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. So we're excited to finally be here today to talk about 98th Street. This is MPO funding that is to be shared with the city of Lincoln and all of Lancaster County. However, this is the first project where it is shared. It is 80-20, and so we will be paying for 20% of this project, which is really exciting. 98th Street has about 650 cars a day on the gravel section in some locations, and so it is really critical to Lancaster County as well as the city of Lincoln to get this street paved, which is the intent of the MPO funding. 98th Street from Old Cheney to A has already been graded. It already has drainage structures in it, so we believe that we will be able to get through that project a little quicker because it's not going to have the in-depth environmental that the north mile, which has not been opened up yet and is not graded, will have to have. And so, of course, 98th Street in the second agreement from A to O is a grading project as well as a paving project. And again, you may recall that when we bought the right-of-way for that mile of road, it is 120 feet wide. If we do not have that road paved by 2030, the right-of-way reverts back to the adjacent landowners. So, of course, we want to get that road in as quickly as possible, and time's ticking. That may take an additional 1 or 2 years because of the environmental studies.
I think it deserves to be said that the county appreciates the new administration's more equitable outlook on distributing the MPO money.
And I really have to say, too, that this is just a really exciting thing to have happen. We've been talking about this for how many years?
Probably 15.
It's been a long time. I know we were talking about it when I first came on board, on the board 7 years ago, and I think that's when we bought the right-of-way, and it's been a long time in coming. So, very good.
Move approval.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve these agreements. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 4H will hold until the end of the meeting. Next is number 5, public hearing. This is for vacating portions of West Saltillo Road located in Lancaster County, Nebraska.
Okay, I will open this public hearing, and the very first individuals will be the staff.
Ken Schroeder, County Engineering.
If I could swear you guys in, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Ken Schroeder, Lancaster County Engineering Department. This is a small section of county road between Southwest 84th and Southwest 86th Street on Saltillo, County Road number 1205. It's a dirt road, and it was brought forth for vacation by our office due to illegal dumping and partying. It's kind of a dead end road. The traffic counts, it's dirt road to the north for about 3/10 of a mile, to the east for about 4/10 of a mile. Traffic counts east and north about mid-20s per day, but I think it really, at this corner, those traffic counts are not accurate because I think they just go to the houses that are at the end of the gravel north and east of here. It's about 850 foot long.
Do you have the colored exhibit?
Oh, yeah. I've got
So as we look at this piece of road, the piece of road shown in blue on the exhibit actually has been closed, but not technically vacated. So Lancaster County still maintains ownership of the road, but it is closed. The area shown in green on the map, we of course would leave open to through traffic. And the area shown in yellow, we're proposing to vacate. And so I've been out here several times. It is a site that has a large amount of illegal dumping It also appears to have a large amount of other illegal activity. And in addition to that, I mean, I was out there one time and I actually, I thought it was maybe like some sort of mass murder scene, but it was a large quantity of deer carcasses that had been dumped in the right-of-way. So what's happening is between Lancaster County and the Prairie, we're spending a lot of time cleaning this up. It's just a little 2-block stretch that people can go in, and it's really hidden from the rest of the road. On the 2-block stretch, there's no driveways on that stretch, and then by and large, the blue section has not been maintained, although on the far south end, it does have a farm access. So,
Deb?
Would there be gates put up as part of the vacation, or what physical changes will residents
well, there
see?
currently are gates in between the yellow and the blue. However, they are often vandalized, and people use that to gain access to the prairie. There's been a couple incidences where a stolen vehicle was even dumped in the corridor. Actually, the stolen vehicle went south as far as it could and then was abandoned. So my concern, of course, with a road being closed but not vacated is we're still really responsible for it. And so we haven't done a lot necessarily to help ourselves in that case. We'll be deciding later on what to do with that mile of road as a whole. Because there has been some recent litigation in a county where hunters didn't know a road was closed but not vacated, and of course they ended up in a creek where a bridge had been removed. And so these are the things that, of course, I'm always worried about as county engineer, although of course I'm not an attorney. But I do have concerns about liability in this corridor, especially if people keep pushing the gates over and whatever. But so I'm just trying to make it so that, you know, if you're more towards the intersection, I think you have a greater chance of being seen if you're doing something illegal or vandalizing the gate.
Thank you.
We are looking at vacating West Saltillo as well as Southwest 6th Street? Or will we do
So
that separately?
Southwest 86th Street is already closed but not vacated.
Right.
Closed but not vacated. Right now, we're looking at, this meeting is to look at vacating the piece shown in yellow on the map. And then we'll coordinate with the Prairie and adjacent landowners to figure out what to do with the other mile to the south. Because I do think we're going to have to do some maintenance work to it before we would relinquish it.
Yeah, that would.
But it's a separate issue.
That was my question, was, are we doing them together or is that separate? Thanks.
Separate.
Perfect.
So what is the condition of Southwest 86th Street? It's dirt?
It is dirt. Unfortunately, at some point prior to my tenure, there was soil taken from it and used on Denton Road, and then it really wasn't maintained or reseeded properly. In addition to that, it really hasn't been maintained since its time of closure. So if you were to drive a vehicle and try to drive from the south up to the north, or from the north to the south, you're going to reach points that are no longer passable with a vehicle.
Okay, and so it's on Southwest 86th Street that there's also that bridge that's missing?
No, that was an example
That
of a
was an
legal
example.
case from
Oh,
another
okay.
county that I am concerned about, and that's the reason why I think we need to proceed forward with a
Okay,
complete
okay.
vacation.
How many residences are there along Northwest or Southwest 86th Street?
None.
None.
There is one farm entrance.
Okay. Do farmers access that Southwest 86th Street?
Farmers do not currently access Southwest 86th Street from the north end. There is an access on the far south end.
Okay.
What about along West Saltillo? Are there farm accesses off
There
there?
are no accesses on West Saltillo Road. It's got some odd topography. The north side is actually much higher than the road. The south side is just flat. But I mean, it's basically an unimproved road that's been left there for some time.
So if emergency vehicles were to come, would they access this road at all? I mean, there's no residences or?
There are no residences on Southwest 86th Street.
Okay,
Yeah, it's just prairie.
just pray.
So.
Just wanted to make sure.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
And West Saltillo ends at Southwest 86th?
It does, West Saltillo does end at Southwest 86. It's never, we do have several miles of county section line road that have never been opened up in Lancaster County. We still currently have about 50 miles of what we call dirt road or non-improved sections.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll continue with the public hearing. Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Seeing none, we'll move to the opponents. If you would please come forward.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your time today. I'm Kim Gates, Kim Bowman Gates. I'm the daughter of Janae Bowman, and she's the property owner that's affected by this closure. And I'd like to introduce my mom to you. She's sitting over here, Janae Bowman, and our farm manager, Kurt Van Norman with Wells Fargo. So, we have, this pasture land has been in our family for 60, 70 years. My grandfather purchased it after World War I. We have a lot of ties to this community. My mother was raised here, grew up here, attended the University of Nebraska. My grandfather, Perry W. Branch, was the first director of the University of Nebraska Foundation, raising millions for the foundation. There's a Perry W. Branch Award that's still given out every year in his name to those that exemplify what he stood for. I was raised on this pasture. There used to be a house there. Rode my horse on the hills. I drove the truck while my dad pushed the hay out the back. We have a lot of ties, and we love this area and this community. I do have a concern with closing of this road. I understand about the vandalism and the dumping and the problems. I'm not going to say that that will go away, but I do think those kinds of activities will continue whether this road is closed or open. As was noted, the topography there, the north side's higher, the end of Saltillo is lower, and it's actually more hidden down on Southwest 84th. So I think there are going to be ongoing problems. Gating it did not solve the problem for Southwest 86 because people just break the gates. And so that Southwest 86 runs through the Audubon property, and it's still a problem, even though it was conditionally vacated. And so closing West Saltillo Road essentially closes Southwest 86 and nullifies those conditions that were placed on that road. Now, as I noted in a letter that I sent to you, that portion of Southwest 86 was closed subject to conditions primarily because of public safety. The farmers that were using the road, emergency vehicles. Back then at the hearing, the sheriff testified to a house fire, and they had to call for support from surrounding communities. I think it was Crete, Denton, and Martell, I believe, that they had people coming from all over and needed multiple access. And he was opposed to closing Southwest 86. The fire department, other emergency services, farmers used to do cattle drives through there, bring cattle and hay through there, farm equipment. It was used, and a lot of farmers were opposed to it as well. One farmer was very concerned about it being gated and then not having any access, and it essentially closed their use of it. So there's not that much use of it now because it's gated, they don't have keys, and so of course the use is going to go down. But it was used quite a bit back then. With the way Southwest 86 cuts through the Audubon and then comes to West Saltillo, if you close West Saltillo, then emergency vehicles or anybody else, essentially, they're going to come to a dead end at West Saltillo. And so it, in effect, negates the conditions the county put on that conditional vacation of Southwest 86. And then I'd also just like to say that we've applied for the EQIP funds. There's a typo in the letter, but it's EQIP, EQIP. And through the NRCS, it's the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, and we'll be putting cross-fencing in there and looking at conservation projects for the pasture and allowing the native grass to thrive. And so this means if you close that road, we won't have access from that side, and we'll have to cut through 3 or 4 fences to get to it from the other side. So I thank you for your time today, and we oppose the vacation, and we hope you will give it consideration. Thank you.
Thank you for coming forward. Do we have any other people to speak in opposition?
Some questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's one I have.
Kim, do you remember what year that was when we talked about those conditions? Because maybe Ken remembers, because I remember the whole concern about making sure that mutual aid had keys to the gates. Am I dreaming this up?
No, that was,
Yeah.
it was around 2008.
Okay.
Mike DeKalb of the planning department
Yes.
opposed closing Southwest 86, and the sheriff and some others, and so it was around 2008.
I do remember that.
December
But this-
2008 is when it was vacated. I don't know, I'd have to research that, their report to see if they oppose it, but my understanding was that everybody was in favor of it as long as it didn't obliterate the road bed, but they let it overgrow to be consistent with the Audubon's Prairie Creek stuff, and access is still from the south.
Right.
But there's no residence or anything along Southwest 86th Street, and then there's no access points along Saltillo Road in this area, and like we said, the bank to the north is very high. Access could still come from Southwest 84th Street on the Saltillo Road roadbed. I mean, it's just that we want to vacate and be able to close that portion.
And we are only talking about West Saltillo today.
Yeah.
I do have the Lancaster County Engineering report from back then. It's dated August 20th of 2008 from Ken Schroeder. And the last paragraph says, therefore, in regards to the requested vacation, it would be our recommendation to not approve this vacation request. And it was received by the Lake County Clerk stamp September 17th, 2008.
So I had a question about the access, because you talked about how you want to use that land. So you currently don't have access off Saltillo, West Saltillo? Do you have access off Southwest 84th, or?
Yes, and Colebrook Road.
Okay. But you don't currently have access
Not on
off
Southwest 84th, no.
What about?
Saltillo would be the most likely access.
But you don't currently?
No.
Okay.
To clarify the report from 2008, I believe that was the vacation was brought forth by the Audubon Society to foster the Prairie Creek habitat and stuff. And so they were looking at the property adjacent to the road that's adjacent to their property. So through that vacation process, we had Saltillo Road and Southwest 86th Street in the study, but the Saltillo Road really didn't have any bearing on the Audubon Society because it wasn't adjacent to their property east or west of it. So therefore, when we recommended that Saltillo Road not be vacated, it was because of the contents of the vacation that was brought forth to us. So it was really
Okay.
just another dirt road segment that we studied. So it was really only the adjacent property to the Audubon.
Thanks.
I'd just like to clarify, currently we don't, but we have access, but we applied for the EQIP funds, and we're planning on putting in fencing and would need access. So that process is we already applied, and we expect that approval to be forthcoming. So.
Thanks.
So if you received those funds and then you did what you had planned, this vacation would have a negative impact.
Yes, that's correct.
How many other farmers would be impacted?
You know, I could not say. I know there was a lot of disappointment when Southwest 86 was closed, and so our property and the Audubon are on either side of West Saltillo. And, you know, I was out there yesterday. There were a couple cans, one small trash bag, but you can see in the pictures that were in the exhibit to the planning department proposal, there wasn't any trash. And so, but I do know that that is a problem from time to time. I really don't think that closing this, it didn't solve the problem for Southwest 86. I don't think it'll solve the problem for West Saltillo. They'll just dump further down.
Okay, any further questions? I do have one for you. Okay, so if we were to vacate that, how much of an impact in terms of, what impact would that have upon the engineering department?
Well, it has very minimal maintenance. I mean, it's just the partying and the illegal dumping. It's a road that goes to nowhere. This is Southwest 86th Street, which has already been conditionally vacated and gated off. So this is the area that is really overgrown with trees, and it's kind of secluded. It's a nice hiding place. So if it were to be closed off, as we propose here, the road wouldn't have to be obliterated or anything. You could still have access to this, and if you wanted to drive in the field up the steep banks, I mean, you still have that ability. Ownership today still goes to the section line on both properties. So we're just saying we're going to vacate any interest we have as a public road.
Okay,
I think it's about protecting the
Yeah.
county's, liability.
Liability.
Here. And it's an issue of public safety fundamentally.
So there could just be a gate, like if this was an access point where we're here, you'd have a gate to get in. It would probably just be moved over to here, and then you could just, it would just be a dirt road, just a lane.
okay. Any further questions? Thank you.
Neutral capacity limits.
Neutral capacity? Okay, and seeing none, I'll close the public hearing.
Roma, the clerk's office did receive an email in opposition from Kim Gates.
Right.
So-
Okay. Sorry, I have a wrench to throw in. I forgot before maternity leave that we changed kind of the process of the road vacation policy due to statute. You guys are supposed to technically wait a week or as soon as practical to make your final decision. I totally
Okay,
forgot
so
that.
We do not close the public hearing then?
Nope, you
No,
close
we
the
can?
public
Okay.
hearing. Yep, you've already closed that, and then you'll just move to delay, hold the item over until next week.
Okay,
So that's my bad.
Was that a statutory change that we're required now to hold it open a week, or just?
Nope, it was just overlooked through, and I don't know if you remember the last road vacation. We had that, we fixed that because we realized that process was wrong because Carrie had noticed that based off all the ones I
Section
did.
39-1725 says, after the public hearing, the county board shall by resolution at its next meeting or as soon thereafter as may be practicable, vacate or abandon or refuse vacation or abandonment as in the judgment of the board and the public good.
okay, so we need to
What's the
deal,
logic there? Sorry.
It might be that the legislature doesn't want the board to close roads without a lot of consideration, and to just give extra time to think about it and look at this, because, closing a road can have serious consequences.
so what we need to do is we need to delay 4B until next week.
Yep, and then it'll just be action only on.
Only?
Yep, next Tuesday.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you for being here.
yeah,
Thanks for
thank you for
coming
being here, yes. You made a long drive. Okay, let's go on to public comment.
Number 6, those wishing to speak on items relating to county business, not on agenda, we do so at this time.
Okay, and seeing none, let's move on to the announcements, and then following that, we will do a recess.
Okay. the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, August 22nd, 2019, at 8:30 a.m. in the Bill Luxford Studio of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, August 27th, 2019, at 9 a.m. in Room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 27th, 2019, at 9 a.m. in Room 112 of the County City Building regarding Keno Fund projects and Lancaster County's proposed budget for fiscal year 2019-2020. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV City. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on Link TV and can be viewed on YouTube.
All right, thank you. And what we will do is recess the Board of Commissioners meeting and move on to the BOE. So, Mr. Clerk, will you begin the Board of Commissioners, equalization meeting?
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk staff at the front of the hearing room. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. 1A is approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Tuesday, August 6, 2019.
Move approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Are there any corrections? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 1B is approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Thursday, August 8, 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Board of Equalization meetings, minutes. Any discussion or correction? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 2 are additions and deductions to the tax assessment rolls.
Move approval of the additions and deductions.
I would second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 3 are 2019 light filing homestead exemptions. This is for Charles and Ray Jean Ziegelbein, Todd Costa, Elizabeth Morgan, Amanda Kaufman, Jim and Cheryl Petrick, John and Arlene Delesi, Joseph and Dolores Robbins, Vitality and Ella Osichuk, Trudy Martin, Jim and Sandra Hirschberger, Judith Swenson, Marilyn Christensen, Harold and Priscilla Gusine.
Good morning, Scott Gaines, Deputy County Assessor, Register of Deeds. These are homestead applications that were received after the statutory deadline of June 30th. Statute allows them to apply and the board to extend that deadline to July 20th. All of these folks have applied within that little extra time. The statute allows this to happen as long as they haven't done it in the previous year. So you can't be late 2 consecutive years. None of these people were in that position, so we would recommend approval of these late filed exemptions. And I'd also like to thank our staff for working diligently to prevent people in this category from losing their benefits by going the extra mile to make people aware that they do need to file every year.
Okay, thank you.
I will move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Only that I'm pleased to not see my mother on this list for once.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 4 is a public hearing. This is for motor vehicle tax exemption applications for Madonna Rehabilitation Hospital and Christ Lutheran Church.
Open this public hearing. Do we have any proponents, any opponents, any in a neutral capacity? Close the public hearing, and let's move on to number 5.
Next is action on motor vehicle tax exemption applications.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 6 is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to County Board of Equalization business, non-agenda, may do so at this time.
Okay, seeing none. Number 7, adjournment.
Move we adjourn the Board of Equalization.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
The Board of Equalization is closed, and we will now return back to the Board of Commissioners meeting.